of Laurent Barthélemy Annie-Gabani, a 14-year-old child from Ivory Coast who was found dead last month in the landing gear of a plane at Roissy Airport near Paris, arrives at Abidjan Airport.
C'est un de nos compatriotes qui est mort dans des conditions dramatiques. Donc, quel que soit donc, le compatriote qui aurait été dans ce cas, il est normal que le gouvernement donc, apporte son soutien.
Il fallait que j'aille prendre le corps de mon enfant. Donc, je suis soulagé, je suis content de ramener le corps de mon enfant au pays, en famille.
Nous sommes émotionnés, l'amertume, il faut dire que ouais, on est fort dans la tête. Merci, soyez arrêtés.
The jury in Harvey Weinstein's rape trial hinted it was struggling to reach agreement on the most serious charge of predatory sexual assault as day 4 of deliberations ended without a verdict.
So they are hung on count 1 and 3. The judge gave what is called in the legal profession the Allen charge. And while I don't like to paraphrase jury instructions, I will just say, generally I call it, jurors, please go back and try again. That's it. It is a long journey to justice. It's long for everyone involved and those who care about the result. But we'll see whether they're able to reach a verdict on Monday. And that's really all I can say at this time, because anything regarding tea leaves, which way are they leaning, if they're hung, we have no idea.
The 12 jurors asked New York State Judge James Burke whether they could be hung on one or both of the top counts, but unanimous on the 3 lesser counts. Weinstein, 67, faces life in prison if the jury of 7 men and 5 women convict him of predatory sexual assault following the Manhattan trial. The jury is considering 5 counts against the fallen film producer, 2 of predatory sexual assault, 2 of rape, and 1 of engaging in a criminal sexual act.
As to the second charge, which involves my client Mimi, and the charge of criminal sexual assault, they have a unanimous jury verdict on that. Now, unanimous, we don't know whether that means unanimous for conviction or unanimous for acquittal. Count 4 and 5 involve Jessica. Count 4 is charge of rape 1. Count 5 is a charge of rape 3. And that's, both of them involve Jessica. They have a unanimous verdict on both of those.
The jury must reach unanimous verdicts on each count, although if they find him guilty of the most serious charges, they do not need to consider the lesser ones. The jurors submitted a written question to Burke asking whether they could be deadlocked on the predatory sexual assault charges, but reached decisions on rape and the criminal sexual act. Burke told them to take more time after lead prosecutor Joan Eluzzi Orban said the state was not willing to accept a partial verdict at the moment. Please resume your deliberations, he said, without directly answering their question. The defense said it was okay with a partial verdict. The charges relate to ex-actress Jessica Mann and former production assistant Mimi Halei. Mann, 34, says Weinstein raped her in March 2013, while Halei alleges he forcibly performed oral sex on her in July 2006. To convict on predatory sexual assault, they must believe one or both of the women, plus the Sopranos actress Annabella Sciorra, who says Weinstein raped her almost 30 years ago. Siora's allegation is too old to prosecute as an individual crime, but she was included on the indictment to bolster the prosecution's claim that Weinstein was a seasoned sexual predator. The jury's question suggests they may have had reached decisions on the 2 rape counts regarding Mann and the criminal sexual act charge concerning Halei. It also indicates that at least one juror does not believe Siora's account. More than 80 women have accused the Pulp Fiction producer of sexual misconduct since allegations against him ignited the Me Too movement in October 2017. Weinstein maintains that all his sexual relationships have been consensual.
The CAP cannot pay for Brexit, French President Emmanuel Macron says at the end of the EU budget summit, which ended in an impasse after leaders could not agree on a deal. Macron, who visits the National Farm Show in Paris, said he would battle to protect the common agricultural policy.
Nous avons refusé un mauvais accord sur la PAC. Nous n'avons pas sacrifié la politique agricole commune, et je l'ai dit très clairement, ce n'est pas la politique agricole commune qui peut payer pour le Brexit.
Uganda was urged to look into allegations that anti-Rwandan rebels are operating on its territory before the long-shuttered border between the neighbors can be reopened during a summit of regional leaders.
Rwandan President Paul Kagame and his Ugandan counterpart, Yoweri Museveni, held a 4th round of talks mediated by Angolan President João Lourenço and the Democratic Republic of Congo's Felix Tshisekedi in a bid to end year-long tensions. In February 2019, Rwanda abruptly closed the border with its northern neighbor, severing a major economic land route. It accuses Kampala of supporting rebel groups and illegally arresting and torturing its citizens. Uganda, for its part, also accuses Rwanda of espionage. The heads of state met at the border town of Gatuna, which has become a virtual ghost town because of the closure. A communique after the summit said it had recommended that the Republic of Uganda should, within 1 month, verify the allegations of the Republic of Rwanda about action from its territory by forces hostile to the government of Rwanda. If these allegations are proved, the Ugandan government will take all measures to stop it and prevent it from happening again. Once Uganda does so, another summit will be convened for the formal reopening of the border. Both sides have since released prisoners from the other country. During the summit, they also signed an extradition treaty for cases related to alleged subversive activities practiced by their nationals in the territory of the other party.
Up next, Canadian startup used AI to raise early alarm about coronavirus. Chinese food festival in Toronto amid fears of coronavirus outbreak. And in sports, Buffalo Bandits steal one on the road against Vancouver Warriors. Basketball is not the only sport that Filipinos love. This is Eagle News.
Soccer, the world's favorite sport. And it's no wonder. Spectacular goals. And plenty of emotion. The best of game day. Kickoff. It's time to take one step further and face the impossible. Time to search the unknown and fight for the truth. Time to overcome boundaries and connect the world. It's time for DW News.
We are living during the most extraordinary time in human history.
All transport will go fully electric.
Es wird eine völlig neue Mobilität geben, meine Damen und Herren.
Rev, the new auto show on DW. getting you into gear on cutting-edge developments.
Wasserstofferzeugung braucht Energie.
We focus on green technology.
Das Auto ist im Betrieb absolut emissionsfrei.
And also feature head-to-heads. And the latest launches.
Das Fahrgefühl war gut, er lässt sich sehr gut fahren, er liegt sehr gut auf der Straße.
And mobility stories from around the world.
Mercedes depuis 2005.
You're watching Eagle News. I'm Archie Rose Natividad-Yi. The Canadian startup Blue Dot used artificial intelligence to raise an early alarm about the coronavirus that originated in the Chinese city of Wuhan. If we really think we can get in front of these infectious diseases, we're going to have to move faster than they do, and they move very, very fast. Dr. Cameron Kahn, the founder and CEO of Blue Dot, tells.
Call it the needles in the haystack. There's a massive amount of data, and the machine is finding the needles and presenting it to the human experts. The human experts examine them to determine if they seem reasonable. Once we say it's reasonable, a whole set of other analytics happen, which includes analyzing all of this travel data. In the case of this novel coronavirus, on early morning, December 31st, in the early hours of the morning, the machine algorithms that we had just talked about picked up an article in Chinese that was talking about a pneumonia involving 27 people associated with this wet market, this animal market in Wuhan. And while we didn't know this was going to become a big global outbreak, we did recognize that it had certain ingredients that were similar to what we saw during SARS. One, it was a pneumonia associated with an animal market without a clear cause. And, you know, those were some of the key factors that we considered that this could be a credible threat. We had a very large outbreak in Toronto that went on for 4 months. A number of healthcare workers were infected, including one of my colleagues. We had a number of healthcare workers who died. And so this was a really eye-opening experience, and was the motivation behind everything that we're doing at Blue Dot. What we are trying to do is to really push the boundaries to be using data and analytics and technology to keep moving faster. If we really think we can get in front of these infectious diseases, we're going to have to move faster than they do, and they move very, very fast.
Many Chinese restaurants in Canada continue to feel a hit as the new coronavirus outbreak continues. Chinese restaurants in the Greater Toronto Area come together to fight against the decline in customers and racism amid fears of the coronavirus outbreak.
Very fortunate to have a wonderful healthcare system here in Canada, certainly here in the province of Ontario. And if everyone takes the precautions of just washing their hands, you've taken the vast majority of the steps that you can take. So get out, enjoy what the city of Markham and all these beautiful restaurants have to offer.
I think it's bad, it's not good. I think we should fight against the virus, not Chinese, right? Some people feel worried. Okay, so that's fine, but like, don't take it as an excuse to be racism to Chinese or other Asians.
But when the people heard the virus from China, maybe I can understand them. So we cut down almost 2/3 customers. Yeah. So now we can do is cut down maybe the employee and ask them to do 1 day and take 1 day rest.
Yeah, they have a Wuhan noodle because the name has Wuhan. They got a lot of harassment phone calls, but the good part is that when they report this to the police and then to the social media, they got a lot of support from the mayor, from the politicians, from the customers. So a lot of people just rushing into their restaurants to eat there to show the support. So we're feeling that we are actually very proud to be Canadians, Chinese Canadians. We're proud of this multicultural country. Whenever there's a stereotype and there's a criticism, there's racism, and we see the most of the people are standing together to denounce it.
In EBC sports, the Buffalo Bandits continue to be undefeated against the Vancouver Warriors. Anthony Sevilla with the details.
The Buffalo Bandits remained undefeated on the road this season after they defeated the Vancouver Warriors 15-8 and improved the record to 6-1. Vancouver pulled the trigger early on with just 47 seconds after the first face-off. Mitch Jones' point shot went right through the Bandits goaltender, first of 3 goals on the night. Buffalo would take advantage in the second quarter by scoring 5 unanswered goals. Despite a strong start from the Warriors, they were unable to generate that same energy late in the game. The Bandits would eventually pull away in this game with another 4 unanswered goals to claim their 5th straight victory.
Our first big win, our first win with like a good lead. That's what we've been looking for. You know, we've been having these close games, just barely squeaking it out. We needed that one. It's a quick turnaround. Luckily, we've played them once before. We got to rest up. That was a tough game. Bodies are sore. We got to rest up, ice up, and then get right back into film tomorrow.
Bandits captain Steve Priolo did not suit up against Vancouver, who was ruled out once again due to injury. Cloutier talked about the team's success and the leadership in the locker room without their captain.
He may not be here with us, but he does a great job of being a leader from still back at home. And, you know, our defense does a great job of filling that role. You know, he's a big role on the defense, but I think they played well tonight. And he's still, even when he's not here, he's still the biggest part of our team.
Warriors head coach Chris Gill voiced his frustration regarding his team's effort against Buffalo.
We had a game plan going in, and we thought we started the game off doing what we wanted to do, and for whatever reason, we kind of got away from that, and they went on a couple goal run there, and we started playing a little bit undisciplined with possessions, and then near the end of the game, playing undisciplined with penalties. So, yeah, we battled, we did our things, but there was a point in that game where we were just like, if we just keep doing what we want to do, yeah, at the end of the day, undisciplined lacrosse will kill you every time.
Warriors forward Mitch Jones led his team in scoring, recording 3 goals and 3 assists. The former Buffalo Bandits player also highlighted the many mistakes the team made in the loss to Buffalo.
I mean, that's a good team. We knew that coming in. We could talk about what they did right, but I think as a group we're kind of focused on what we did wrong. Not to take anything away from them, but there's just a lot of mistakes out there. It starts with our leadership group, but there's a lot of mistakes that we've making. We kind of had those 2 games stepping forward, and I think it was kind of a 1 step forward, 2 steps back tonight. Good news is we're back at it this weekend, so hopefully it's a blip on our radar, but we'll see how we respond.
From Vancouver, Anthony Sevilla, Eagle News, 1:25.
Here is a sports story with a bit of a twist. A growing number of young Filipinos in Canada have adopted the national sport of their adopted country. And as Eagle News correspondent Thomas I. Likeness tells us, one of these players has also followed the practice of many professional athletes who use their sport to share their beliefs.
Most people think basketball is the sport of Filipinos, but here in the Canadian city of Edmonton, b-ball has a rival. It seems that hockey is a hit among young people from the Philippines. 12-year-old Ryan Belisi has been playing organized hockey for 2 years now. Ryan says his interest in the game came naturally.
I think it was really just me growing up in an environment. Well, I think I went to like tons of hockey games as like a very small kid, so like maybe when I was a baby both. So.
Now, Ryan is not alone on the ice. He says there's a growing number of Filipino Canadians shooting pucks.
Well, there's a lot of good Filipino hockey players, but it's not just basketball that we play, but it's a variety of sports. It's not just those sports that we're all traditionally used to, like volleyball and basketball. It's also things like hockey.
Ryan has combined his love of sports with something else, as evidenced by this logo on his helmet.
It's just the INC sticker boat, and it's a logo boat, and I hope to represent INC at all times when I'm playing on the ice boat.
INC stands for Iglesia Ni Cristo, or Church of Christ, the church to which Ryan belongs. What was his motivation?
Because anything is possible with God, right? So, you know, without him, like, I can't play as well, but I can't do a lot of things that I can do today. So.
Hockey, like other sports, can lead to college scholarships for players who excel at the game. Is this in Ryan's future?
Yeah. With God's mercy, anything can happen, but so.
Tonight's game didn't go so well. The Sabres lost 7-6.
It was a good battle till the end, but they just came out on top.
Hockey is becoming a family affair for the Belises. Ryan's younger brother, CJ, he's pictured here with the rest of the family, is also in organized hockey. Although Ryan loves the game of hockey, he's embraced something far more important. He stands up for what he believes and is freely willing to share it. In Edmonton, Thomas I. Liknas, Eagle News, 1/25.
Still to come, Torontonians are chilling at the 15th annual Yorkville Ice Fest. You're watching Eagle News.
In Good Shape, your weekly health show on DW that covers many aspects of healthcare. We look at what's new in medical treatment, nutrition, fitness, and beauty. We discuss these topics in depth with specialists.
Accurate and fair reporting. Not only from Batanes to Tawi-Tawi, but also abroad. Detailed and timely stories relevant to people all over the world. Catch all of these at Net25, your reliable source of news, entertainment, and technology updates.
Earth. Home to millions of species. A home worth saving. Global Ideas tells stories of creative people and innovative projects around the world. Ideas that protect the climate, boost green energy solutions, and reforestation. Using interactive content to inspire people to take action. Global Ideas, the environment series of Global 3000.
This is Eagle News. I'm Archie Rose Natividad Yi. Bundle up and join Eagle News correspondent Angela Milano as she keeps it cool at the Yorkville Ice Fest. Angela?
Despite the winter chilly weather, locals and visitors alike are chilling with glee here in Toronto's village of Yorkville Park for the 15th annual Yorkville Ice Festival, a two-day spectacular event showcasing ice sculptures, activities, food, and music, all representing the city's dynamic cultures and the event's current theme of the awesome 80s. The ice sculptures are definitely the main ice attractions of this event. From celebrity figures, video games, fashion, and 80s pop culture, visitors can walk through the streets and be amazed by the beautifully carved pieces people can look at and take pictures with. One featured installation is located in their photo opportunity area. Kids, teens, adults, and fans of Back to the Future franchise gather around to see a sculpture of the famous DeLorean from the movies. An ice sculpting competition attracted artists to exhibit their crafts and display their finished works for guests to see. Also, following the theme, the sculptures bring the 80s back to life with cool designs and interpretations of the decade. Warming stations are a must in this outdoor event. There is the Ice Fest Lounge where people can relax, warm up, and listen to the music curated by the DJs and be presented with dancing performances that will make you get up and groove with the music. In Canada, February is Heart Month in support of the Heart and Stroke Foundation, and the festival is supporting a good cause of raising awareness on heart health. Visitors can try the maple syrup taffy and play vintage arcade games by making monetary contributions. These event proceeds will then be donated by the festival to the Heart and Stroke Foundation. It is not hard for the 80s to make a comeback in this event where everything and everyone is already retro cool. From Toronto, Canada, Angela Milano, Eagle News 1 with 25.
That is this week's Eagle News. Join us next week for stories that matter to you. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews. Thank you for watching. I'm Archie Rose Natividad Yi. I am 1 with 25.